Okie dokes. So, greetings, welcome Gemini, that's you. This is Tarot Lumination with your love and relationship report for February 2018. Thank you very much for visiting. Thank you for choosing Tarot Lumination. Really appreciate that. We're going to do the routine that everyone else does. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Reinterpret, make the best of it for yourself, of course. It's, these readings are for lots of people, and it might not make sense for this one. So that's why we often suggest watching sun, moon, and rising. And also, if you want to, you can cross-watch for the significant other, and that can be very illuminating, by the way. So cards were well shuffled in advance. I like to go to the last second so that you're a witness. No oracles, sorry, no reversals. I'm just going to, it's just, it's enough just to read the cards the way they were originally painted. It's tough enough just to do that, Don't need to make it any harder than it is, all right? So Gemini, just a bit of a heads up, like a lot of the other reports we've been talking about, a little bit of background about the astrology. We had the eclipses, we've got them coming in right now. We had the full moon eclipse coming out of January with the Leo moon opposing the Aquarius sun. And in the middle of February, we've got the Aquarius new moon doing its thing. And then we've got Saturn in Capricorn doing its thing. And we've got the Jupiter in Scorpio doing its thing. Now, none of these things are happening exactly in your love and relationship houses, like the 5th house or the 7th house. So you might not be feeling any direct impact in that way. But the patterns are there. The energy is still there anyway. And it does affect us all one way or another. And, our circumstances and how we conduct ourselves is always in a state of flux. And so we have to allow for that. Well, I'm not going to focus too much on the planets for you with this particular relationship, except to say that with the Saturn there in the 6th house, your health, your habits, your practices, your, let's say, your service to humanity, that might impact your relationships. Also with the Aquarius thing happening, this is where, let me just double check something. No, with the Saturn thing happening in your 8th house, but let's put it more like this, the Aquarius new moon, okay? Now, Aquarius and Leo energies are very harmonious for you in particular, so that's happening up in your 9th house of like wisdom, higher learning, travel, adventure, optimism, foreign places, foreign people, kind of big stuff, think of Sagittarian type energy. And it's very harmonious for you. So you might have new starts and new beginnings in there in your personal self, which might have like ripple and side effects into your love and relationships, but no direct impact, so to speak. Okay, so let's just dive into it and just see what happens. Let's see what the story tells. All right, and then you can reinterpret however you want. All right, it's your reading for you. It's not a couple's reading. It's not that there's the two of you sitting at the table across the desk over there. It's just about you, Gemini, and then there's the significant other. We're going to use the crucible spread, which allows that you, Gemini, have a relationship with a significant other, and then we allow for the relationship itself, a third entity which has a life, an identity, a structure, a mission, a vision, an energy and purpose of its own. Okay, and in a healthy, loving relationship, we invest in the crucible. We deliberately create a structure in which we can relate, in which we can intimate, we can separate in a state of safety and security, knowing that we've done this by decree. This would be your love vibe. Beep, 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 beep. You're always radiating energy, even when you're resting and meditating, okay? So that's what's radiating out of you right now. And over here, this is what's radiating out of the significant other, okay? Then going down deep inside of you over here, maybe a completely different energy. And over here, deep inside of your significant other, another energy altogether. And over here, the core of the relationship itself, which has its own pulse, its own identity, its own, let's say, nature, its own characteristics, like a completely separate, it's almost like a person itself. All right? And then over here we have the prospects, like the momentum. Where does this all go? If you think of it as a continuous flow, okay? There is the crucible itself, the structure in which we can intimate and separate in a state of safety. If this is well designed, if it's well structured and honored and respected and nurtured, then you both can have the chance to spiritually evolve and heal and grow, play happy families, have your tricky moments where you're well separated, and then have your lovely intimate moments where it's all just one juicy blender of yummy love. Now, circumstantially, we've got this. Let's say that you're going to make the best of the weather, and you have the Knight of Wands. So over here, to me, it's an indication as your reader that circumstances are very encouraging for you to make fresh starts in your love and relationships, given the new big stuff that is coming to your awakening, your awareness of that new moon eclipse that's happening right up there in your ninth house of higher learning, knowledge, wisdom. It's like an amazing place to have a new moon eclipse because it makes you feel as though, like, my gosh, new awakenings. Like, I have no idea, like, how relationships could really be, because you would have had a limited perspective up to that point. But starting in the middle of February and then going on for many months from there, you're probably going to get a big jolt and a big awakening of the potentials in what can happen in a love relationship, given your new knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and perspectives. So let's have a look. Okay, well, maybe you've already sensed this. Maybe because if you think back to February 2017, about a year ago, these eclipses are now like a very loud echo of whatever happened back then. So if you think, what happened to you back then, Gemini, about a year ago, when the same eclipses were active, the Leo Aquarius axis? Well, now things are kind of coming to a culmination much more vividly than back then, because we're deep into the eclipse cycle for the Leo Aquarius and the North Node. So what you might discover is, since the eclipse is happening on the South Node, the collective South Node, you might be discovering all sorts of things that never really worked, that were never really true. And then it's very liberating. It makes you feel like, wow, now I can see what the problems were all along. And that opens up new horizons, new perspectives, where you can start to see the good stuff coming in, the potential for what can actually happen in a love relationship now in a way that you deserve. Literally seeing your ships coming in. And you might have been waiting for this for a very long time, and now you're seeing it, actual evidence of, let's just call it circumstantial evidence that shows that things are looking up for you, okay? In terms of greater awareness about what happens in a love relationship, okay? Just from your perspective right now. Okay, let's have a look at the other. Okay, wow. This has come up for several readings. It's a very powerful card. The Ace of Cups is like the ultimate love card in some ways, and this would not happen unless it was deserved. This is a card of sacred opportunity. The aces, I don't feel that they arrive unless they have been earned, okay, and invoked and brought in. So Gemini, you might be dealing with a significant other who is already kind of primed for this and has been waiting, and now they see it as their chance and their opportunity to flow at this level. And they've worked for this, they've earned this, and they've deserved this, and they have the potential to bring this much love into a love relationship now that the obstacles have been identified and clarified, and that gives you a chance to move away from anything and everything that's not working or does not work in a relationship and start moving towards what does work. And they are on board with you. Like, finally, a chance to express and share the love that they have. It's a joint effort here, okay? That's what I'm feeling, where this could not have happened without being in that relationship with you, where the potential for this to occur could even happen at all. So in some ways, Gemini, I feel that you're extremely lucky here, okay? And it's a chance to go for it. It's a time to really make the best of this right now. Make the best of very good weather. Take full advantage of it. and then see what happens in March and April and May or whenever. But for right now, it's a really good indication that you're getting what you deserve, and it's about time. And this is now coming into fruition, and let's make the best of it. Let's see what happens. What's going on deep inside of you? Whew! Okay, so you've got. It's almost like you could see this as the realization, this is where I have to go. It's all about what really, really, really counts. It's about being very deeply happy at the core inside myself, Gemini, where your love, your experience of love and happiness is not contingent on the external, like, whatever you call them, definitions of love. Like, oh, are they the tallest and the most perfect? Are they the most handsome and the most rich? Do they have the right car? Do they fit all the profiles that would make them a perfect match for all my family members? So I don't have to explain a way about how things could be awkward. No, it's none of that. It's all about knowing that what really counts is being happy and loving and radiant and very healing and very, let's say, magnanimous, generous, kind, and joyful from the inside out. And then through the laws of attraction, you literally attract this to you. In other words, you don't have to go and get this. This comes to you, Gemini, by you making conscious, deliberate decisions to be this way, which would be like tuning into the Leo North Node energy that would, let's say, manifest in your third house. We're not seeing that yet. We're going to see that. You might have had a glimpse of that at the eclipse right at the end of January, but it's going to become really maximized in a few months, down the road in summertime with the big Leo new moon. You're going to really feel it then. So if you think of this as a longer term type of reading with a longer term trajectory, and we're factoring in the eclipses right now, my feeling is what's happening is you're discovering like blind awakenings, like, wow, this is amazing. I've discovered everything that doesn't work in our love life, my love life, your love life, our love thing. It's amazing. I've discovered that really all that counts is this. Woo! But this is still very, very new. This is still very much deep at the soul level, but I also feel that it's going to start to grow and radiate outwards, where you'll start to see evidence of how your soul decision to tune into this and be happy from the inside out attracts this to you. But then this has to be solidified and maintained and, let's say, nurtured for the longer term. And that would be very much to do with Saturn and Capricorn in the 8th house of intimacy. So it's all wonderful to have like marriage and love and woohoo engagement and like that. Wow, we had the most amazing intimate moment. But then once you're in the marriage bed, so to speak, that's a whole other story. It's like, the whole buildup of love and romance to get to the point of a marriage, for example, or a formal relationship, which has vows and consciously, deliberately chosen structures, the crucible itself in which love can happen. We're taking it to the next level. Okay, what actually happens when we actually do merge souls together? When that stuff that happens between loving partners happens, where you literally dissolve into each other. And that is the energy of, I don't want to use that word on this channel, but it's sexual, healing. And that can be very much one of the most powerful healing modalities on earth. But it takes a tremendous amount of courage to go into that zone. And that typically only happens when both parties have already agreed to go to that zone. So there's so much potential here for that to happen. And if you see that as something that could be nurtured and built and restructured and remodeled over the next 3 years, starting right now, that's very good for you. Okay. Also, you do have Jupiter in Scorpio in your 6th house, which is all about deep soul healing anyway, transformational healing in terms of like cleansing and purifying all the toxic habits that are not working for you and restructuring, transforming from the inside out so that what does work can continue and maintain. Okay. Because this is very volatile. The energy of opportunity, it can come and go very, very fleetingly. If it's not honored and respected and nurtured, this can just go like it was never there. So just putting that in there as a word of caution for you, Gemini, all right? So it might be with the new, with the awakenings happening with the full moon eclipse at the end of January. It's a Leo thing, but it's still in the Aquarius like vibe. It's all about much better, clear understandings of speaking and listening, being a much better listener, and then taking time to speak, and then, you know, instead of just constantly communicating outwards, being very much more ready, willing, and able to receive and understand communications in a very deeply loving, intimate relationship. So, Gemini, you might be very lucky to have attracted someone who actually feels that this is a deep soulmate relationship, okay? Where the significant other here can actually sense that we're dealing with something above and beyond three-dimensional, like, oh, you're hot. Okay, you're hot. Yeah, are we going to do this? Okay, we're going to do this. Okay, well, that was great. Shall we get married now? Oh, okay, okay. So that was great. So what do we do now? Oh, well, you got to get a job. Oh, well, you got a job. Well, we'll just figure it out. Joint finances, blah, 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 blah. And we got to pick the sofa, and then we got curtains to match the fabric on the sofa. And then we have our love life. No, it's not like that. To me, what it feels like here for you, Gemini, it's much more about this, like this whole notion that you can have a very deeply intimate relationship with literally like a soulmate relationship here. They are definitely sensing it and feeling it on this side, and that's what they want and they feel and they deserve. And that wouldn't happen unless they had earned that possibility. So it is very much possible here with you, Gemini, and it's very much a time and indication right now to go for it. Grab this opportunity when it's here, because it's very fleeting. Okay, it's very, very fleeting. We're constantly in a process of intimate, separate, intimate, separate. So right now, this is an indication of deep, deep intimacy and the chance to literally merge at the soul level, do a lot of deep soul cleansing, deep soul healing for yourself, which has a beautiful ripple side effect on the other. And you literally start to build, even if this feels very new to you, this could be the building and the structuring and of a soul, what amounts to a soulmate relationship, okay? Because they're definitely feeling it. Let's have a look at the core, what's going on, okay? It's okay to allow for that, a lot of things going on that you don't really understand here. It's okay to surrender to the mystery, okay? So, you know, in day-to-day terms, what we talked about, the little story I just described there about making sure you got the right microwave, and then you've got the right car, and you've traded in, you've got the perfect color to match, you know, the driveway, and your house is the you know, the nicest one on the block, and all of those kind of, and you've got the coolest friends, and everybody wants to come to your parties. Okay, that's great, that's wonderful, wonderful. But at the deep core of this relationship, there is a beautiful mystery unfolding here, and that's what's so cool. It's so cool, it's so beautiful. And it might have totally caught you guys by surprise. But if you're willing to surrender to the mystery, this is a very beautiful thing, because it's almost like we don't actually know what's going to happen here. You can plan and plan forever and follow all the templates in the world that have already been predefined. But what you're doing here is you're creating your own soulmate relationship from the ground up. Okay, let's have a look. You see? Which is very, very much about, I feel this is very much to do with the Jupiter and Scorpio thing in your 6th house, to do with deep soul healing, which allows you as another, and the other as a significant other, to engage in this beautiful, mysterious thing called a soulmate relationship, where you can go on this divinely ordained journey of deep soul healing, where you get to spiritually evolve, they get to spiritually evolve in the context of a deep soul relationship in a way that neither of you could spiritually evolve to this level without being in this kind of mysterious, beautiful love relationship. So the relationship itself comes to a state of inspiration where both parties, by being willing to have the courage to intimate and separate at this very intense level and go through the joyous process of intimacy, healing through deep intimacy, the relationship itself becomes like a beacon that inspires you to want to jump into it. Like, you love being in the crucible, in the structure of this relationship. It's like having a beautiful swimming pool in which both of you can dive and enjoy the healing waters of the swimming pool itself, and then shake it all off, like I'm going to towel off now. I'm going to towel off now. Wow, you were amazing. I saw you diving and swirling around like a dolphin. Wow. Well, I saw you do that stuff. Cool. You're so cool too. You just look like an amazing. I just saw this image in my mind of like those clusters of amazing, beautiful, eye-popping jellyfish. Okay, that sounds weird, but it's just like mutual love and mutual appreciation that could not have occurred unless both of you had jumped in this amazing, mysterious pool together and allowed yourself to float around like that and make the best of each other. So it's like a cool thing, like, my God, we own this amazing, mysterious swimming pool of love. We're going to jump into it and we're creating our own soulmate relationship in the process. Wow. And it's very healing for me. It's very healing for me too. I love doing this. I love doing this with you. I couldn't do this without you. Well, I couldn't do this without you. This is so cool. Wow, it's really true. Tarot Illumination talked about healing through intimacy. Yeah, it's totally cool. I get it. I get it. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Thank you. I love you. I love you too. Bye. Oops, hold on. I got a bit carried away there. Hold on. Let's just do this. I want to tighten it up so that you guys can see it. And I'm going to put this over here. Now you can reinterpret however you want. Okay. So this is for you, Gemini. All the best. Make the best of this time. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Okay. Where's the button? Hold on.